Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the two of them had a baby, they were still asleep. Close the security door, Cece shouted happily. Auntie, Cece misses you so much. Looking at Cece running towards her, Mengrong immediately showed a gentle smile and hugged her and said, Cece, Auntie misses you too. The two originally lived in the same community, and Cece often came to Mengrong's house to play. However, after the extreme cold came, the heavy snow blocked the road and they never met again. Looking at the happy aunt and nephew, Yan Shu was not as optimistic as them. She put the backpack on the side of the sofa, put one hand on her waist and said, Sister Rong, let's put aside the reminiscence first. She said with her cherry lips, you know, the situation is so bad now, every grain of food is extremely precious. Since we live together, we must first coordinate the food and distribute it accurately every day. Duddy Mengrong, who was holding Cece, suddenly froze with a smile, and then smiled reluctantly. Xiao Shu, there is no rush for food, let's talk about it in the evening. Cece and I haven't seen each other for a long time. I miss her so much. Let's have a good chat. That when Mengrong spoke, her eyes dodged and her sight was erratic. For Yan Shu, who had worked in the criminal police team and was experienced, she almost didn't need to think, and she could tell in an instant that the other party must be guilty. Sister Rong, tell the truth, how much food is left? Yan Shu narrowed her eyes and her tone suddenly became heavier. Mengrong seemed to be frightened, her pupils shrank, and she panicked and couldn't even speak. She didn't expect that Yan Shu would find out that she was lying in an instant. In order to trick Yan Shu over, Mengrong contacted Cece and learned that they were running out of food, so she lied that she had 2 boxes of instant noodles and could share them for free. In fact, there was only 1 box of instant noodles, and there was not a single bag left yesterday. In other words, Mengrong's family now had no food at all, and Yan Shu had come here with Cece for nothing. Yes, I'm sorry. I was so scared that I lied to you. Duddy Mengrong admitted her mistake with shame, and she also knew that her deception was shameful, but since she finished the last bag of instant noodles yesterday, she not only starved to death, but Deng Tu and his group of murderous demons were still wandering in the corridor. Mengrong was always worried that the other party would target her who lived alone, so when she knew Yan Shu was at Cece's house, in order to ensure her own safety, Mengrong said that she had 2 boxes of instant noodles at home and invited her to bring Cece over. Sister Rong, you are really a bit too much. Yan Shu couldn't help but take a deep breath and shook her head in disappointment. If she wasn't a relative of Cece's family, and had met Mengrong many times before, and if she wasn't her elder in terms of age, Yan Shu really couldn't help but take action. She and Cece didn't have much food to begin with, and they took such a big risk to come here, wasting a lot of energy. Now it's even worse. I still have 2 bags of instant noodles, half a bag of potato chips, and 3 candies in my bag. Yan Shu sighed lightly. With so little food, there are 3 of us. Even if Cece eats less, how many days can we last? It's estimated to last at most 3 days. It's okay, Sister Yan, Cece is not hungry, you don't have to eat today. Cece saw her aunt being scolded by Yan Shu, and she couldn't help but speak for her aunt. Seeing this, Yan Shu didn't say anything more, but frowned. Cece was still young and didn't understand how bad the current situation was. This was a problem related to the survival of the 3 of them, and they had to find a solution. Suddenly, a dizzy feeling came. Yan Shu's slender and straight thighs seemed to have lost their strength and fell on the back of the sofa. Xiao Shu, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Duddy Mengrong was frightened and Cece was about to cry. The 2 of them quickly helped her up and let Yan Shu rest on the sofa. I'm fine, just a little hypoglycemic. Yan Shu held his forehead, his cheeks were a little pale, and waved to the 2 of them. She hadn't taken in enough protein and glucose for more than half a month, and she had just walked for half a day with Cece on her back in the snow several meters thick, which overloaded her body. Boom. Yan Shu took out a candy from her backpack, then picked up the ornament on the coffee table and smashed it down. She carefully tore open the package, stretched out her slender fingers, picked up a small piece of broken candy, into the cherry lips. Don't underestimate the candy. In fact, the energy provided by a piece of candy is much higher than some snacks. Only one piece is enough to support an adult's activity consumption for several hours. However, the disadvantage is also obvious, that is, there is no feeling of fullness. After eating a piece of broken candy, Yan Shu's face looked better, and the dizziness from the brain finally subsided a lot. Alas, every time I come here, nothing good happens. Yan Shu leaned on the sofa, staring at the ceiling with her beautiful eyes. A month ago, in order to visit witnesses of the bank robbery, she and her colleagues came to this building. That day she was wearing a uniform skirt. Because she was late and in a hurry, she just wore a transparent lace and forgot to wear safety pants, but she didn't expect that the guy named Luo Tian took advantage of her. Yan Shu recalled, and couldn't help biting her silver teeth together. She didn't know how much the other party saw, but the lace was too transparent. Every time she thought of this, Yan Shu wanted to dig out Luo Tian's eyes. The second time, that is now, she was tricked by Yi Menrong to come here. Not only did she have to be wary of the group of villains led by Deng Tu in the apartment building who killed people, she also had to face the food crisis of the little left that could not last for 3 days. Alas! Yan Shu sighed again, and her full chest could not help but rise and fall. Although she was a police officer, she was not good at solving such headaches. Xiao Shu, actually. In this building, there is a resident who has a lot of food stored at home. Not only is the house warm, but now he can even eat barbecue every day. That Yi Menrong hesitated for a moment, but still gritted her teeth and said. He also issued a bounty order in the owner group before you set off. Whoever can kill Deng Tu or his little brother can get a whole big roast chicken from him. After that, Yi Menrong also took out her phone, opened a group chat, and showed the pictures sent by Luo Tian to the two of them. As soon as she saw the golden roast chicken that was crispy on the outside and tender on the inside, Yi Cici's eyes were fixed, and she couldn't help drooling and said, Sister Yan. Cici is hungry and wants to eat a big roast chicken. Roast chicken? So big? Yan Shu was also shocked. She knew very well how bad the situation was now. The blizzard outside had submerged everything, and the community was basically cut off from the outside world. After half a month, this family could still eat barbecue every day, and they didn't feel sorry at all for offering this nearly 4-pound roast chicken as a reward. How much food did the other party have stored at home? Chapter 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The chicken is so big, but it is still a big deal. Such a big roast chicken, if you save it, the 3 of us can eat it for a week. Yan Shu raised her eyebrows slightly, and her mind became active. Anyway, staying at home and doing nothing will only lead to death in the end, so it is better to fight. In her eyes, although Deng Tu's group is a big threat, she is still confident that she can deal with them. After all, let alone a group of hooligans, she has killed desperate drug dealers with her own hands. Yan Shu's eyes moved and glanced at the nickname of the person who sent the message. Practice time is 2.5 years, Luo Tian. Xiao Hei. No, Luo Tian. Yan Shu glared with her beautiful eyes and gritted her silver teeth. Seeing her angry face, Yi Menrong couldn't help but ask in surprise, Xiao Shu, do you know Luo Tian? Are you familiar with each other? That there was a hint of expectation in her tone. Yan Shu is so beautiful and tall, and she has countless admirers. If Luo Tian is also one of her admirers, then can they still worry about food? Yi Menrong couldn't help thinking in her heart, this is hugging a thigh. Not familiar. Yan Shu shook her head and said angrily, he is a pervert, lustful, and shameless. Chu. Luo Tian, who was holding by Ye and learning piano fingering, suddenly sneezed. Strange, which idiot scolded me? Luo Tian held by Ye's slender waist with his left hand, but his right hand went into her slim-made outfit. Gu Xiu Jin Sama. By Ye's eyes were blurred, and the 2 round and slender white legs under the maid's skirt were tightly clamped together. She sat in Luo Tian's arms, but her hands were on the Steinway piano, playing. For some reason, the notes she played were out of tune. Play well. Repeat the fingering tips to me again, Luo Tian said with a serious attitude. Well, the fingering I'm talking about is for playing the piano, not. Bai Ye bit her lips tightly, and sweat seemed to appear on her white forehead. Her slender waist twisted non-stop, as if she was enduring something. Her white and tender toes, like cardamom, were tightly clasped together. What reward? I'll go to his house and take this roast chicken. I'll take it as interest for him taking advantage of me last time. Yen Shu said with a cold light in her eyes. She was a pure and innocent girl, and she was half naked by the other party last time. Now she was just taking some food, which was already very kind. Upon hearing this, Mengrong panicked. Hey! Xiao Shu, don't be impulsive. Dadi Mengrong quickly grabbed her shoulders and explained worriedly, didn't I tell you that Luo Tian is offering a bounty on Deng Tu and his men's lives? But, before that, he had already repelled Deng Tu several times. Yen Shu couldn't help but raise her eyebrows and said suspiciously, Sister Rong, don't lie to me. I have investigated. Luo Tian is not a fighting master, just an ordinary person. It's okay if he is not beaten to death by the other party, but he can also drive away so many people on the other side, that even if it was herself, when facing a group of fierce knife-wielding thugs, Yen Shu was not sure that she could beat the other party and make them flee without getting injured. It's true, that Mengrong saw that she didn't believe it, and couldn't help but explain anxiously, we don't know what means Luo Tian used, but Deng Tu and the others really didn't dare to trouble Luo Tian later. And I heard that the anti-theft door of Luo Tian's house is very strong and can't be broken even with a hammer. Yen Shu said very unhappy, okay. It means that if you want to get food, you can only listen to Luo Tian obediently. Anyway, Deng Tu and his group, who Luo Tian offered a reward for, were the kind of people who could be dragged out and shot directly. Yen Shu would not have any psychological burden to exchange their heads for food. It's just that the other party has many people, and you can't be reckless if you want to kill them. It's best to defeat them one by one. But I always feel so unhappy in my heart. Yen Shu said angrily. Her underwear was seen by the other party, and now she has to help the other party solve the enemy. It's really a loss. She never thought that one day she would succumb to food. What a shame. Xiao Shu, you also know that the current situation is special, so I can only let you down. Dadi Mengrong saw the other party compromise, and couldn't help but secretly breathe a sigh of relief. The other party didn't live here, so he didn't know Luo Tian's strength. But she knew very well that if Yen Shu breaks in by force, her fate will probably be similar to that of Deng Tu's group of brothers. Yen Shu is very skilled. As long as he ambushes in the stairwell in advance and kills a few brothers who go down to dig snow and boil water, there will be no big problem. As long as they can exchange a few big chicken legs, the three of them will not have to worry about food for at least a short time. Anyway, the social order has collapsed now, and the word law seems ridiculous. Although some of them are unscrupulous, they just want to survive. Moreover, the big roast chicken and big chicken legs given by Luo Tian are full of weight. Unlike some profiteers who are short of weight, a big chicken leg can last at least a week if you eat it sparingly. Okay then. Yen Shu narrowed her eyes, hugged her chest and said, Sister Rong, please add him and tell him that I have accepted the reward, and ask him not to regret it. Don't worry, Xiao Shu, Dadi Mengrong smiled and said, the relationship between the two parties has reached the point where they want to kill each other. And Luo Tian's family has so much barbecue. How could he go back on his word for a few chicken legs? But I'm afraid you have to add him as a friend yourself. Mengrong said with difficulty. I don't want to talk to that scumbag, Sister Rong, you should do it. Yen Shu said unhappily. My prestige has been blocked by the other party, so I can't add him as a friend. Last time I wanted to borrow some food from him, but Luo Tian didn't agree and deleted the friend. Dadi Mengrong said with some difficulty, actually, when Luo Tian sent a picture of roasted lamb legs with a tomahawk to the group last time, she was as envious as the other residents. Mengrong not only applied to be Luo Tian's friend, but also shamelessly took private photos of herself, hoping to exchange some roasted meat with her body. After all, Luo Tian took Li Ro, the married woman, as his wife. Mengrong's husband died a long time ago, and she herself is also a married woman. Maybe Luo Tian likes this. I didn't think about it. Luo Tian just praised her for her good maintenance, and then blocked and deleted her. However, this matter is too shameful. If she said it, she would lose face as Yan Shu's elder. So Menrong had to evade the main point and lie at this time. As I expected, Luo Tian is not only lustful, but also selfish. Yan Shu snorted coldly. However, she didn't know how Luo Tian was killed by his neighbors in his previous life, otherwise she wouldn't say such a thing now. Ding. Yan Shu took out her mobile phone and sent a friend request to the other party. Then, she hugged the towering peaks, raised her slender and straight thighs, leaned on the sofa and waited for a response. TSK, this is the first time I actively add a man as a friend. Chapter 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The snow was falling outside the window, the fireplace in the house was burning with flames. Baiya, with her beautiful legs wrapped in white silk, knelt on the sofa, pinched the grape flesh with her slender fingers and carefully put it into Luo Tian's mouth. In addition to cleaning the house and playing the piano for Luo Tian every morning, she peeled fruits and fed them to Luo Tian in her spare time. Luo Tian held his head comfortably and leaned on the sofa to enjoy the feeding. Let the national goddess peel grapes and feed them by hand, the top treatment. I guess no one can enjoy it except himself, Luo Tian thought happily. Apart from occasionally taking out some supplies from the space and replenishing the kitchen's inventory, he had nothing else to do. All the housework at home was handed over to Baiya. It can be said that the maid has things to do and nothing to do. Master, you have a new friend request. The housekeeper issued a reminder at this time. Luo Tian usually doesn't pay special attention to his mobile phone, so when there is any new message, the housekeeper will always notify him as soon as possible. New friend. Luo Tian raised his eyebrows, wondering who was idle and added him again. Baiya stood up and took the phone, and clicked on the screen to hand him the friend application interface. Who is it? I don't know. Luo Tian saw that the one who added him was a girl with a big-breasted anime avatar, and he couldn't help but curled his lips. Without saying anything, he directly rejected it. I forgot, this is the first number of friends to apply for friends. Baiya covered her mouth and chuckled. Boring. Luo Tian yawned and waved his hand to let Baiya throw her phone aside. After exposing his family background in the group a while ago, too many people added him. Not only those married young women and unmarried girls, but even men pretending to be women to ask for food. So for these owners who apply for friends, he now chooses to ignore them. But, this friend gave me inspiration. Luo Tian said thoughtfully, grabbing Baiya's jade hand painted with black nail polish, holding it in his hand and playing with it gently. The slender and tender green fingers are as white and silky as if they were soaked in milk. After it was painted with black nail polish, Baiya's pure temperament suddenly added a touch of charm. The jade hand was needed, and Baiya's pretty face couldn't help but reveal a touch of shame. Itchy. Numb. As for Yan Shu, it would be great if I knew her prestige. A simple understanding of her situation would also help me tailor a plan and further lure her into the trap. Luo Tian and Baiya held hands and thought in their heads. In this harsh and extremely cold apocalypse, he believed that no one could resist the almost unlimited supplies in his space. As long as the other party has a need, then they will definitely not escape in the end. However, what Luo Tian didn't know was that the person with the anime busty female avatar who had just been rejected by him was actually Yan, the policewoman herself. When Yan Shu applied for a friend, she didn't think too much at all, and didn't even make a note. She didn't know at all that Luo Tian's prestige was almost blown up by the owner, so she generally wouldn't agree to applications from unknown sources. What do you want to eat today? Li Ro asked gently, picking up an apron and tying it around her slender waist. It was almost noon, and as the exclusive cook of Luo Tian's family, she had to start preparing lunch for the three of them. Well, I learned 2 new dishes from the housekeeper. Why not try them at noon? Li Raozong tapped her cherry lips with her green fingers and smiled. Chicken with mushroom cream sauce, Hungarian goulash. How about choosing one of these 2 dishes? Because Luo Tian's space had stored so much supplies, she could learn the dishes without worrying about the lack of corresponding ingredients. I want to eat chicken with mushroom cream sauce, Baiya said with her beautiful eyes flashing with anticipation. It's not that beef is not delicious, but that she has eaten a lot during this period, so Baya feels a little tired and wants to change to chicken. If her idea was known to other residents, they would probably be envied to death. We are all starving to death. For nearly a month, we have been living on non-nutritious snacks every day. You have delicious beef to eat, but you are still picky. If you don't want to eat it, give it to us, we are not picky. Eat stewed beef. Luo Tian raised his lips, not wanting Baya to get what she wanted. Ah, how can this be? Baya pouted her lips, and said with a pitiful expression on her pretty face, seeing that Luo Tian was still unmoved, she stared helplessly with her big watery eyes, stretched out her jade hands to hug his head, and then leaned forward. For a long time, the two separated. Baya licked her delicate cherry lips, and looked at Luo Tian expectantly with her beautiful eyes. Well, I changed my mind, let's eat mushroom chicken. Luo Tian said with a smile. Yeah, sisterly Ro, let me help you. Baya raised her little fist and said triumphantly, and ran to the kitchen with a sweet smile to help make lunch. Her long golden hair fluttered in the air, showing her energetic and beautiful girl posture. Then you help wash the mushrooms first. Li Ro said with a smile. Then, she looked at Luo Tian with some resentment, and walked into the kitchen with a twisted hip full of jealousy. During this period, Luo Tian and Baya were inseparable. It was fine if they were together during the day, but they also tossed until the early morning every day at night. Without considering her feelings at all, every morning when she wakes up, the first thing Li Ro does is to change a new bed sheet. Chicken with mushroom cream sauce. It is a staple food in the French kitchen in autumn and winter. The ingredients include mushrooms, chicken legs, onions, chicken soup, and dry white wine. Li Ro opened the refrigerator and saw a whole layer of chicken legs that made other residents jealous. Defrost, pat dry, sprinkle salt and pepper on the chicken legs, and then coat them with flour. Fry them with butter and olive oil. The children next door are crying with greed. Fry mushrooms, pour white wine, pour in stewed chicken soup. Under Li Ro's skilled craftsmanship, it didn't take long for a delicious aroma to float from the kitchen to the living room. TSK, it smells so good. It makes me hungry just by smelling it. Luo Tian sniffed and said, with Li Ro around, he didn't even want to eat the buffets ordered from the restaurant. The delicacies of various countries are now at his disposal. Li Ro paused in her movements after receiving Luo Tian's praise, and a sweet smile appeared on her lips. These ordinary ingredients are filled with her love. During the waiting time, Luo Tian was not idle, but asked the housekeeper to adjust the surveillance of the entire building to observe the movements of others. 12th floor, room 1204, Yan Shu has never come out since she went in. Luo Tian only took a look and looked away. Anyway, the housekeeper will remind him when she comes out next time. Chapter 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. When Luo Tian looked at the surveillance camera on the 18th floor, he suddenly found that the door of Deng Tu's house was open. Deng Tu looked furious. Don't you have brains? How can so many people be scared away by a woman? Even if that woman is good at fighting, she is alone. And she is not in good condition, and she has a little kid with her. Are you all weak? A younger brother lowered his head and said, Boss, I don't think we need to take the risk to kill Officer Yen. If we are not careful, we will lose a few more brothers. Deng Tu cursed, idiot. Use your poor brain to think about the identity of that woman. She is a police officer. Do police officers understand? Compared to us murderers, who will the owners listen to? What if the female police officer unites other residents? Will we still have a foothold here? The younger brothers suddenly realized, Boss is wise. Why didn't we think of it? Waste. If you can think of it, then I can still be the boss. Deng Tu cursed angrily, then he changed the subject and said, This is not what worries me the most. What worries me is that if that female police officer gets together with that bastard Luo Tian, then we will have a hard time. One of them has supplies and the other has the ability. If they really get together, the first thing they will do is probably to kill us. Deng Tu said with a fierce look in his eyes, I have to say it, as the leader of a group of hooligans, although Deng Tu's legs were broken, his brain was not slow, knowing that their mortal enemy Luo Tian would try every means to eradicate them. After all, he was also constantly thinking of ways to smash the damn iron door of Luo Tian's house. We must not let Luo Tian know the existence of that female police officer. Deng Tu said coldly, if Luo Tian knew, he would definitely take that female police officer into his home just like he rescued Bai Ye before. After all, the policewoman was born very beautiful, with a very attractive figure, long legs and a slim waist, and high combat power. The other party would definitely not let her go, and facing Luo Tian's invitation with sufficient supplies, the policewoman would not refuse if she lacked food. In that case, Luo Tian's strength would be greatly improved, and even if he really broke the security door and broke in, he would most likely be killed by the other party. This is something Deng Tu absolutely cannot tolerate. But what he didn't know was that Luo Tian had already known about Yan Shu's arrival through surveillance, and every word he said at this time was also seen by the whole process. Search for me, search hard. We must find her at all costs, and kill her while she is weak. The younger brothers gritted their teeth and responded, yes, boss, we will find her now. Looking at the younger brothers who came out in full force, Luo Tian couldn't help but sneer and said, good Deng Tu, you are not slow in reaction. Yan Shu was in a very bad state at this time. If he was attacked by the other party by mistake, he would probably be seriously injured. Humph, I will send you to the west sooner or later. Luo Tian said coldly, now, it depends on who moves faster and can contact Yan Shu first. 12th floor, room 1204, your application has been rejected. Looking at the result displayed on the screen, Yan Shu widened her beautiful eyes in disbelief and said in astonishment, that bastard, he actually rejected my friend application. This is the first time she has added a man as a friend. She didn't want it, but was ruthlessly rejected. How many second-generation rich people have fought to be her friend, but she never gave them a chance. Ah, this. Yi Menrong also showed a trace of worry, and then comforted, is it because you didn't explain clearly, so Luo Tian treated you as another resident? Otherwise, you should explain clearly and try again. Because Yi Menrong had added Luo Tian as a friend before, she knew that there must be many people who, like herself, were eager to get food from Luo Tian, so they kept adding him, and finally Luo Tian was annoyed. Yan Shu's application for friend was rejected, probably because of this reason. Okay, then I'll try again. Yan Shu took a deep breath, calmed down the ups and downs of her chest, and then continued to click the button to apply for friends. Note, I'm here to get chicken legs, concise, cold. When Yan Shu chatted with others on Weixin before, the most common words she said were oh, okay, long messages, almost never sent. So she thought she was very clear. Luo Tian would definitely know what she meant. What a pity, dozens of residents before, when they were frantically adding Luo Tian as a friend, used this sentence to death. What I am here to get steak XX, as long as I give you food, you can do whatever you want to me. My price is very cheap, as long as you have a piece of barbecue, I can provide door-to-door service. I want to eat barbecue, please give me some. Looking at the short note message, Luo Tian couldn't help but say with contempt, who the hell are you, coming up to get chicken legs? Before, you always got steak, but this time it's chicken legs. Get it and send it. Luo Tian blocked the other party without saying anything. It's not that he didn't think that the other party came for the reward, however, other male owners didn't have the courage. How could this woman with a big-breasted beautiful girl as her avatar be competent? Your application has been rejected. No, I'm going to beat that bastard to death. Yan Shu said angrily. She was rejected again. It was unbelievable. This was too bullying. Yan Shu even began to wonder if Luo Tian knew that she was the friend, so he was deliberately making things difficult for her. Don't get excited, your note is too sloppy. Luo Tian must not understand what you mean. Yi Menrong glanced at her note and quickly pushed her back to the sofa, but a faint blush appeared on her cheeks. This note format is too familiar. It seems. Last time I was at home, I used this format to ask Luo Tian for steak. Yi Menrong thought a little embarrassedly, no wonder she was rejected. Xiao Shu, you have to write your name and police identity, Yi Menrong explained quickly. Okay, let's try again. Yen Shu forced herself to calm down, and patiently filled in her identity and the purpose of adding friends in the remarks. This time, it should work. In Yi Mengrong's expectant look, Yen Shu clicked the button to apply for friends again, but she didn't expect it. A few big words popped out instantly. You have been blocked. At this moment, Mengrong, who was full of hope, was stunned. Her own number was blocked by Luo Tian, and now Yen Shu's number was also blocked. How can they contact Luo Tian? Ding! At this time, Yen Shu suddenly received a message. She suppressed her anger. Clicking it, she found that the person who sent her the message was actually Xia Lan, a mother with children whom she had helped a month ago. Officer Yen, I think I saw you coming to our apartment building just now. Excuse me, is it the official rescue? Sorry, no. Yen Shu replied, I came to find an elder who lives here. Huh? Yi Mengrong's eyes suddenly lit up. It seems that they can ask Xia Lan for help. Chapter 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. After the incident, the police found that the victim was a victim. With Yi Mengrong's reminder, Yen Shu also reacted. Xia Lan, I was actually going to accept the reward from Luo Tian, but there was a small mistake at the moment. Yen Shu briefly explained the situation to the other party. So, can you help me contact Luo Tian, and I will give you the corresponding reward afterwards. Xia Lan, the mother of the treasure, replied very straightforwardly, no problem, Officer Yen. You helped me find my child before, and I will definitely help you with this small favor. I didn't expect Yen Shu to dare to accept Luo Tian's reward. On the other end of the phone, Xia Lan's face was very surprised. However, she was worrying about how to contact the other party, and this also provided her with an excellent opportunity to play. Xia Lan definitely couldn't contact Luo Tian. After all, her prestige was also blocked, but now her goal is the food in Yen Shu's hand, so it doesn't matter whether she can contact Luo Tian or not. People are almost starving to death, and she can't care too much. Xia Lan, I had a little grudge with Luo Tian before. You'd better be careful when you contact him. Yen Shu didn't know that Xia Lan had set her sights on her food, but reminded, please tell him that I can help him deal with Deng Tu and others, but he has to advance me some food in advance. Otherwise, with my current poor physical strength, I'm afraid I don't have much confidence. Xia Lan saw this and felt disappointed. Officer Yen. What do you mean by this? Don't you have any food at all? That's not the case. Yen Shu replied briefly. Dealing with the police is troublesome. Xia Lan clenched her hand holding the phone and gritted her teeth and said, normally, at this time, shouldn't you tell me how much food is left? After thinking about it, Xia Lan decided to stabilize the other party first. Officer Yen, I'll contact Luo Tian now, you wait for me. Room 1204. Xia Lan is a little bit wrong, she seems to care about how much food I have. Yen Shu narrowed her beautiful eyes and noticed a little abnormality from the other party. However, during the contact with the other party a month ago, Xia Lan left a very good impression on her. Yen Shu didn't think much about it. Xia Lan's character is pretty good, you should think too much. Yi Mengrong is also familiar with Xia Lan, and said with a smile, as far as I know, Baiya helped Xia Lan before moving into Luo Tian's room. With her as the middleman, it's probably okay to contact Luo Tian. After all, there is someone next to you blowing the wind. Baiya? Yen Shu was stunned and said in surprise, you are talking about the big star Baiya, right? She moved into Luo Tian's house. Yi Mengrong slapped her head and laughed. Look at me, I forgot you didn't know this. She then explained, I was also surprised that the famous Baiya would live in the same building with us. However, Baiya was almost abused by Deng Tu's group of villains before, but fortunately she was saved by Luo Tian later. Yen Shu couldn't help but curl her lips and said, save? I don't think so. Sima Zhao's intentions are known to passers-by. Baiya, a charming big star, moved into a big man's house. It goes without saying what kind of treatment she would receive, right? It seems that I thought too much. After Yen Shu understood the whole story, he also put aside his doubts about Xia Lan. Not long after, Xia Lan replied, Officer Yen, I contacted Baiya, and she said she had communicated with Luo Tian, in order to improve her credibility. Xiao Lan also cleverly brought up by Ye. After all, Deng Tu did not tell anyone that she betrayed the other party. Really? Sorry to bother you. What is Luo Tian's attitude? Yan Shu's eyebrows relaxed a little and asked. Well, Luo Tian said that what he lacks the most is chicken legs. If you take the job, he can advance you 4 chicken legs in advance. Xia Lan typed this line of text in the chat box expressionlessly. This also fits Luo Tian's personality. 4. Seeing Xia Lan's response, Yan Shu and Yi Mengrong were shocked. Originally, they thought it was not easy for Luo Tian to advance a chicken leg. After all, she just wrote a blank check. But they didn't expect that Luo Tian trusted her so much. Could it be that I misunderstood him before? Yan Shu bit her lip and said with a complicated look. For the first time, she had a little doubt about her own way of looking at people. Xiao Shu, that's great. For chicken legs, we don't have to worry about starving to death. You eat first. 1 To restore physical strength, we can save the rest, Yi Mengrong said in surprise. Even Yi Sisi beside her swallowed eagerly. But Luo Tian also wants you to make a little guarantee. Xia Lan's news came again. He wants you to exchange 5 packs of instant noodles. 5 packs of instant noodles. Looking at this news, Yan Shu's eyebrows couldn't help but frowned. Xiao Shu. What does Luo Tian mean? His family obviously doesn't lack snacks like instant noodles. Yi Mengrong couldn't help but clench the corner of her clothes and asked nervously. I guess he wants to force me to eliminate Deng Tu for him as soon as possible. Yan Shu thought about it and explained, they didn't lose money in this deal, but there is a problem, that is, they only have 3 packs of instant noodles in their hands now. It doesn't meet the conditions for exchange at all. Xia Lan, I only have 3 packs of instant noodles now. Yan Shu typed back, contact Baiya again and ask her to ask Luo Tian if he can lower his demands. This time, Xia Lan was very patient and responded after a while. Officer Yan. Luo Tian agreed. As expected. Yan Shu breathed a sigh of relief and immediately believed in her own judgment. The exchange of instant noodles was fake, and the real purpose was to hit her. However, the current situation is very favorable for them. At Xia Lan's request, Yan Shu also took her only 3 bags of instant noodles and carefully came to the 17th floor, room 1701, put the things at the door, knocked on the door and left. Xia Lan said that Luo Tian did not trust Yan Shu, so she had to come to deliver the food. The excuse was reasonable. After all, before the end of the world, Yan Shu almost hurt Luo Tian, and Xia Lan took advantage of this. After Yan Shu left, Xia Lan quickly opened the door and grabbed the 3 bags of instant noodles back. Holding the instant noodles, she cried excitedly, Xiao Bao. Mom got the food. Officer Yan, I'm sorry. Xia Lan murmured, good people, you can't live now. Send away the remaining instant noodles. The 3 began to sit on the sofa, waiting for news from Xia Lan. Chicken legs, Sisi wants to eat big chicken legs. Sisi held her mobile phone, clicked on the picture in the group, and drooled. It's all fake to say that she's not hungry. I always feel that things won't go smoothly. Yan Shu held the towering in front of her chest, and her beautiful eyes looked at the white world outside the window. The heavy snow was still falling, the goosefeather-like snowflakes were flying and falling in the air. This quiet and beautiful scene not only did not make her feel calm, but made her feel a little uneasy. I think I'm overthinking. Yan Shu shook her head. She didn't want to doubt a mother who was raising a child alone and had a harder time than others, so, the 3 of them began to wait quietly. Time passed. I don't know how long it has been. Sister Rong, how long has it been since I came back from Xia Lan's house? Yan Shu suddenly said. It's been 5 hours. Yi Mengrong bit her lip and said. Yan Shu was silent. A heart suddenly sank to the bottom of the valley. Chapter 66. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The 2 of them were very close. Xiao Shu, Xia Lan hasn't responded for so long, do you think? Yi Mengrong said hesitantly. she felt that Xia Lan would not be the kind of person who would deceive them for food. However, too much time had passed. Don't worry yet. Yan Shu took out his mobile phone, opened the chat interface, and sent a message to the other party asking for information. Xia Lan, how is the situation over there? After the message was sent, Yan Shu hugged his arms, stood up and began to pace in the living room, from one end of the living room, walked to the other end, and then repeated it again. Obviously, he was not calm. 15 minutes later, there was still no news from Xia Lan. This time, Yan Shu finally couldn't sit still. Sister Rong, you and Cici stay here. I'll go to Xia Lan's house to see what's going on. Yan Shu told Yimengrong, walked to the coffee table, picked up the fruit knife she usually used to cut fruit, and then put it on her slender waist. Then she tore open the wrapper of a candy and threw the candy into her mouth. She needed to replenish her energy. Xiao Shu, it's too dangerous outside. If you run into those demons like Deng Tu, and you've been hungry for a few days, it might be very dangerous, Yimengrong said worriedly. Just now, when Yan Shu went to deliver food to Xia Lan, she was worried at home, fearing that the other party would be discovered by Deng Tu and his people. It's okay, Sister Rong, I can move easily by myself, and a group of street thugs can't find me. Yan Shu patted her shoulder and comforted her. It will be dark in a few hours. We don't have any food left, so I have to find out what happened to Xia Lan. Yan Shu said with cold eyes, pushed open the door and walked out directly. If she is hungry for another night, maybe she won't even have the strength to go out tomorrow, then, it will be really desperate. Dong. The security door closed gently. Cici said fearfully, Aunt, Sister Yan will be fine, right? Don't worry, your Sister Yan is a police officer, very powerful. Cici, don't be afraid, let's wait for her to come back together. Yimengrong hugged the other party and comforted her softly. On the other side, Yan Shu followed the wall and came to room 1701 without any danger. One more floor, it was Deng Tu's house, so she had to be extremely careful and not make too much noise. Xia Lan. Yan Shu knocked on the door gently, waiting for the other party's response. However, 5 minutes passed, and she tried to knock on the door again, but unfortunately there was no movement in the house. Is she not responding to me, or is she at Luo Tian's house? Yan Shu thought with a grim face. Compared with the former, she was more inclined to believe that Xia Lan was forcibly detained by Luo Tian. I'm afraid, Luo Tian has always been resentful of her, and from the beginning, he had no intention of giving her food. Luo Tian, I know it. Yan Shu touched the fruit knife on her waist and turned away without hesitation. This is also one of the reasons why she brought a knife. In the room, Xia Lan covered her son's mouth, and the two dared not make a sound. It was not until there was no movement outside the door that Xia Lan finally began to breathe in the air. There was a touch of joy on her face. Xia Lan knew very well that Yan Shu, as a police officer, would never break into her house. In the eyes of the other party, she was an innocent mother. With the deliberate guidance during the previous chat, the other party would definitely suspect Luo Tian in the end. Officer Yan, if you break into Luo Tian's house, you will probably die. Xia Lan murmured. She couldn't help but put her hand on her chest and found that her conscience was not at all uneasy. If Yan Shu was killed by Luo Tian, then she could enjoy these instant noodles with peace of mind. Xia Lan clenched her fists and said, Officer Yan, please, go to hell. In the living room, Luo Tian stared at the surveillance screen, and the whole person couldn't help but feel a little strange. Strange, too strange, he said in amazement, because Luo Tian was surprised to find that Yan Shu had just come out of room 1204. After Yan Shu came out of the house, she did not go anywhere else, nor did she choose to leave, but went to the home of her mother Xia Lan. However, Yan Shu knocked on the door for a long time, but there was no movement in the house. Luo Tian, who watched the whole process through the surveillance screen, knew very clearly, Xia Lan has actually been hiding at home. You've been fooled. Why are there always big-breasted and brainless women who fall for Xia Lan's trick? Luo Tian didn't know what they talked about, but through the surveillance footage, it can be roughly guessed that the two of them probably reached some kind of deal in private. Unfortunately, Xia Lan is a dead liar. Hearing this, Baiya on the side couldn't help but bury her small chin in shame in the snow-white fullness of her chest. she was the first person to be fooled. At this time, Yan Shu did not choose to return the same way, but continued to walk up. At this time, she had reached the 21st floor. Is this policewoman coming for me? Luo Tian tapped his fingers on the coffee table, a little surprised, but this is a bit too sudden. Why did Yan Shu suddenly come to the 23rd floor to find him? Is she trying to avenge the fact that she saw her underwear naked a month ago? Or did Yi Mengrong or Xia Lan, who lived in room 1204, say something to her, so she came to him for food? After all, Luo Tian vaguely remembered that the young woman in room 1204 and Xia Lan had sent him private photos on Weixin before. But after he had sex for free, he didn't give her any food. No matter, since you took the initiative to take the bait, I can't miss it. Luo Tian raised his mouth, separated by an indestructible alloy steel door. He didn't worry that the other party would hurt him. From the surveillance, Luo Tian looked at Yan Shu's cold and delicate face, her slender waist swaying while walking, and a pair of long legs wrapped in pants that were surprisingly slender, and couldn't help but take out an electronic leg ring from the space. Audit intervention, the collar has been changed to a leg ring. I hope all new and old readers will be aware of this. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I have to find a way to let Yan Shu wear it. Luo Tian gently stroked the cold metal surface of the leg ring, his eyes narrowed slightly. Just wear it, then everything will be fine. No matter how good Yan Shu is at fighting, how irritable, he can pin her down and output it hard. The high voltage current of the leg ring itself is enough to kill, it's no joke. After thinking about it, Luo Tian still felt a little unsafe. After all, Zhao Zhao's previous target for the experiment was his personal female secretary. Compared to ordinary people like female secretaries, Yan Shu is a police fighting champion who has been tempered with high intensity. As a reborn person who has died once, Luo Tian must be extremely cautious and take all possible accidents into consideration. Baiya, Li Ro. Luo Tian's eyes were on the two women on the side. What's the matter? Baiya tilted her head and asked in confusion. Li Ro also pursed her lips, not knowing what he wanted to say. Later, I might let Yan Shu, the female Tyrannosaurus, in. Luo Tian smiled and said, remember to stand in front of me. If the other party makes any unusual movements, such as suddenly taking out a dagger from the chest or lower body, remember to hold her down immediately. Hearing this, the two women couldn't help but widen their beautiful eyes. Baiya. Li Ro. Chapter 67. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were very close, but the two of them were very close. I don't think it's a good idea. Luo Tian, you said that the other party was a criminal police officer before. Baiya said weakly. She and Li Ro were good at warming the bed, but she was not very good at other things. You know it's not okay, but you still stand at the door on purpose. Do you want to be the other party's hostage later? Luo Tian said speechlessly. He would not pin his hopes on two delicate beauties. If Yan Shu hadn't worn a leg ring, he would never open the door and let the other party in, because this electronic smart leg ring that can only release intense current and is always connected to the housekeeper is his biggest reliance. Keep your distance. Even if Yan Shu is physically strong, she can only hold on for a few seconds longer than the average person. Luo Tian weighed the heavy and cold electronic leg ring in his hand and thought to himself, as long as he avoids being hurt by her sudden attack, there will be no other unexpected situations. Besides, the door frame of the security door has a built-in security inspection function. If the other party is carrying a weapon, the housekeeper will detect it as soon as he steps into the door, and then sound an alarm. As long as there is any abnormal movement, the leg ring will burst into electricity. At any time. Oh. Let's hide aside. Li Ro patted her amazingly high chest and pulled Baiya away from the door. The two girls couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Fortunately, Luo Tian was joking and scared them. They were just being affectionate just now. How could they be so ruthless right away? At this time, after Luo Tian gave instructions to the two girls, Yan Shu also came to the corridor on the 23rd floor. No wonder Deng Tu's group couldn't take over Luo Tian's house. The walls are actually full of alloy plates. Yan Shu touched the inside of the wall where the wall skin was smashed. and her eyebrows slightly frowned. It seems, Luo Tian, that bastard, is really good. He actually took such good protective measures at home. Arrived at the door, Yan Shu, who was sharp-eyed, almost judged at a glance that the sturdiness of this door was probably unimaginable. Dong dong, she tentatively reached out and knocked lightly, and what she got in return was a dull sound that was almost silent. The thickness is at least 200 millimeters. It's probably comparable to the anti-theft door in the bank vault. Yan Shu's heart suddenly sank. This shows that if she wants to force her way in, as long as Luo Tian hides at home and doesn't open the door, then she can't get in anyway. For her who had performed anti-terrorism missions, this kind of heavy alloy door is not unfamiliar. Some criminals robbed banks and couldn't blow it open even with the C4 explosives prepared in advance. Policewoman Yan, what are you doing sneaking around my door? Behind the door, Luo Tian's teasing voice suddenly sounded, oh. I just touched the door, how did the other party find out? Is there a surveillance camera? Yan Shu reacted instantly, frowned and looked up, but didn't see the shadow of the camera at all. That's the pinhole camera. Ha! Yan Shu sneered. Who would install such a thing in an ordinary family, and specially modify the door and wall to be so solid? I'm afraid that Luo Tian's house really has something shameful. She couldn't help but strengthen her determination to go in and investigate. Maybe Xiaolan was really under house arrest by Luo Tian. Luo Tian, I suspect that you have illegally detained others' personal freedom. Please open the door immediately and cooperate with my investigation. Yan Shu said coldly at the door. Suspicion? Ha, policewoman Yan, just based on your suspicion, you can break into a private house without permission. Luo Tian laughed disdainfully. We haven't seen each other for at least a month, you put such a big hat on me right away, it's a bit too much. Luo Tian tooted his lips. Could it be that your investigation was fake, and you really wanted to see me? Did the last meeting make you fall in love with me at first sight and can't forget me? Suddenly teased, Yan Shu's pretty face showed a trace of shame and anger, and she punched the security door hard. Luo Tian, if you dare to talk nonsense again, I will tear your mouth apart. It was the first time that someone dared to be so bold and tease her in front of her. Oh, I'm timid, Officer Yan, don't scare me. Luo Tian teased. You are so angry, are your relatives coming? It just so happens that I have a lot of octaves here, I can give you 2 packs for free. Hearing this, Yan Shu couldn't help but say with anger, Luo Tian. You are dead. She clenched her fists and punched the security door with a few punches. The noise was almost the same as Deng Tu and the others hitting with a hammer. Fuck. It's really a humanoid female Tyrannosaurus. Luo Tian couldn't help but secretly smack his lips. Who? After Yan Shu vented, she felt a little regretful. She didn't have much physical strength to begin with, and now she wasted a lot of it. Why didn't she control her emotions and was easily angered by the other party? Well, it was because Luo Tian was such a bastard. He saw her naked last time, and now he's still teasing her. Luo Tian, open the door for me immediately, I suspect Xiaolan is under house arrest by you. Yan Shu clenched her fists and said coldly. Open the door. No problem. Luo Tian agreed readily. Just when Yan Shu was shocked, a cold electronic leg ring fell from the hole above the security door. Put it on and I'll open the door for you. Behind the door, Luo Tian's indifferent voice sounded. Leg ring? You want me to wear it? Yan Shu caught the thing and gritted her teeth after seeing what it was. She is a police officer. How can she wear such a cheap accessory like those worn by the flashy hostesses in nightclubs? However, Yan Shu frowned and found that the metal leg ring in her hand did not look like a simple accessory, it must have other functions. Yan Shu held the leg ring in her hand, biting her teeth, and began to struggle in her heart, should I wear it or not? If I wear it, I might fall into Luo Tian's trap. If I don't wear it, the other party won't open the door, and she can't get in at all. Wear it. Yan Shu made a decision in an instant and went in first. She had no way out. In the past, when she sneaked into the dens of human traffickers and drug dealers alone, wasn't she able to escape danger every time? By the way, remember to wear it close to your thigh. Luo Tian reminded. Yan Shu paused and gritted her teeth to swallow her anger. Take off your pants, buckle the cold leg ring on her snow-white and elastic thigh. Click. The leg ring closed automatically, making a crisp locking sound. A burst of electricity surged, and the numb feeling spread from the root of the thigh, making Yan Shu lose consciousness for a moment. Damn! There is a lock here. Yan Shu's face changed, and she immediately wanted to take off the leg ring. Unfortunately, the leg ring uses a new type of memory alloy. No matter its toughness or strength, it is not an ordinary pervert. Bring a cutter, don't even think about cutting it off. The cold corridor with a temperature of dozens of degrees below zero made Yan Shu feel that her exposed thigh skin lost consciousness in just a few seconds. If she continued, she would probably be frozen to death. Damn it! Yan Shu could only grit her teeth and give up. She wrapped her snow-white elastic thighs with thick and warm cotton trousers again, avoiding the hidden danger of being frozen to death. Now, can we open the door? That she said coldly. Her tone was cold and emotionless, as if it was the low temperature of -70 degrees outside. Of course, welcome, policewoman Yen. Luo Tian smiled slightly, unlocked the triple door locks, and slowly opened the security door. Yan Shu lifted her long legs and stepped in. At this time, Luo Tian had retreated to a place 7 meters away from the door. Policewoman Yan, you are the third guest to enter my house. Luo Tian said with a smile. Chapter 68. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The target person is carrying a weapon on his waist. Detected as, a common fruit knife for families. Threat level, medium. At this time, the housekeeper suddenly issued a warning. The big screen in the living room also displayed a scan of the three-dimensional graphics. On Yan Shu's waist, a red fruit knife was extremely conspicuous. Not good. Yan Shu's pretty face changed. She didn't expect that the knife she carried would be exposed as soon as she entered the door. She hadn't even approached Luo Tian yet. If he got on guard, all her efforts would be wasted. Can't just sit there and wait for death. Yan Shu immediately pulled out the knife from her waist. At this moment, she couldn't care too much. She aimed at Luo Tian's position and threw it out. Target shows attacking behavior. Threat level, high. Zila. Yan Shu suddenly felt her wrist numb, and a strong electric current instantly came from her thigh, causing her body to be occupied by severe pain. If it were an ordinary person, she would have been unconscious by now. Go, die. Yan Shu bit her tongue and forced herself to wake up. Fruit knife, throw it out. Master, tilt your body 90 degrees to the left. The housekeeper gave a reminder in advance before Yan Shu threw the fruit knife. However, Luo Tian didn't listen to the housekeeper. Instead, he directly took out a huge target for shooting from the space and blocked it in front of him. Dong! The fruit knife was like an arrow, firmly inserted into the target. Its strength can be seen. Congratulations, 10 rings. Luo Tian poked his head out from behind the target, looked at the knife that hit the center of the bull's eye, and gave a thumbs up. At this time, Yan Shu didn't know whether she was angry or electrocuted, and she lost her strength and fainted on the ground. Butler, is she really fainted? Luo Tian was not careless and asked the butler carefully. Yes, master, after the bracelet detection, Yan Shu has fallen into a coma. Oh, really? How long will it take for her to wake up? Luo Tian waved his hand, and the heavy anti-theft door closed automatically. Then, he walked over and relocked the 3 locks, and stuck the heavy alloy bolt firmly behind the door. The current released by the bracelet can make ordinary people unconscious for 1 hour. The target's physical fitness is amazing, and the awakening time will vary. The housekeeper paused for a moment, probably calculating. It is expected that he will wake up at any time in 30 minutes. After listening to the housekeeper's words, Luo Tian walked to the unconscious Yan Shu and squatted down slowly, looking at the other party's frowning eyebrows and the trace of pain between his delicate eyebrows. He couldn't help but say with pity, "Hey. Why are you working so hard? If you get electrocuted, I will be distressed. As he said, he couldn't help but reach out and gently stroke Yan Shu's delicate and silky face. The current with the highest power of the bracelet is okay for one time. If it happens too many times, it is estimated that the brain and nerves will be irreversibly damaged. Go wash her clean, hurry up, preferably within 25 minutes. Luo Tian stood up and said to Li Ro and Bai Ye beside him, every goddess who lives here must smell good. After so long since the end of the world, he estimated that Yan Shu didn't have good bathing conditions. Oh, okay. Yes. The two women hurried over, picked up the unconscious Yan Shu, and carried her directly into the bathroom. Luo Tian didn't follow, but sat on the sofa and asked the housekeeper to call up the surveillance footage of the bathroom. Sister Li Ro, hold on, I'll help this officer Yan take off his shirt, Bai Ye volunteered. Okay, you do it, remember to move quickly. Li Ro nodded. Sizzle, Bai Ye moved quickly, took off the other's coat in a few strokes, and threw it aside, then she took off her warm clothes. Hey, Sister Li Ro, Officer Yan is wearing a chest bandage, Bai Ye said in surprise. She found Yan Shu's chest was wrapped in bandages, but even so, her size was almost the same as hers. It's probably for the convenience of movement. Stop talking, untie it quickly. We still have to give her a bath. Li Ro was also very surprised, however, she could understand why the other party did this. After all, among the three people, her breasts were the largest, reaching an amazing G-cup. When working in the company, other men would glance at her breasts for no reason, and whether she worked for a long time or walked for a long time, she would feel tired and sore in her shoulders. As a last resort, sometimes Li Ro would secretly put her breasts on the table to let the table share some of her pressure. I guess Yan Shu has the same trouble. Li Ro couldn't help but sighed. Bai Ye untied the bandages layer by layer. Unexpectedly, when she just untied the last layer, two huge white balls suddenly jumped out. The surging waves made the two women dumbfounded. Sister Li Ro, Officer Yan's breasts are almost as big as yours. In the living room, Luo Tian was also shocked by this scene. Fuck, I found a treasure. He almost dropped his jaw. I thought Yan Shu's breasts were the smallest, only B+. I didn't expect them to be so hidden, and they are actually a circle bigger than Bai Ye's, probably E. Li Ro can eat cherries directly when she lowers her head. I guess Yan Shu can. Luo Tian exclaimed in amazement. Housekeeper, zoom in the picture. Yes, yes. In the bathroom, the shower head sprayed warm water. Bai Ye and Li Ro were racing against time to clean Yan Shu's fair and tender body. The two girls found that Yan Shu not only had amazing breasts, but also maintained a good figure. Clear abdominal muscle contours, mermaid lines, vest lines are all available. The two snow-white and slender thighs, every inch of skin is full of elasticity, so Bai Ye couldn't help but stroke them back and forth several times while washing. The touch is great. It took 25 minutes. When the other party's delicate body was dazzlingly white, Li Ro took out the prepared clothes and put them on Yan Shu. However, there were only 2 pieces of underwear. This was also what Luo Tian had ordered long ago. Letting the other party remain ashamed can have a good influence on the other party's mind and disintegrate his willpower. It can also be a feast for the eyes, which is not bad. Luo Tian personally carried Yan Shu, who was wearing a swimsuit and exposing a large area of snow-white skin, to the living room. Good legs. He admired the 2 beautiful legs that had been exercised for many years, which were white and elastic, without a trace of fat, and he didn't even want to look away. Legs for years. In order to prevent the other party from doing anything irrational after waking up, Luo Tian directly took out a pair of alloy bracelets from the space and put them on her, and took out a slender and tough chain. Click. One end was connected to the alloy bracelet, and the other end was fixed to the steel railing next to the huge floor-to-ceiling window. A goddess bound by chains, a bit like Greek mythology. The scene was unexpectedly beautiful. After Luo Tian prepared everything, Yan Shu was still unconscious. She curled up her 2 snow-white legs, and her slender and straight thighs gently overlapped. Her slender waist was as soft as a willow branch, outlining an attractive curve. She lay quietly on the blanket like a sleeping beauty. The delicate face was less cold and more tender at this time. It made Luo Tian feel that the other party was more real, no longer like the cold policewoman before, but like an ordinary neighbor. TSK, I didn't expect it. Luo Tian sighed. The previously high-ranking policewoman Yen, after a month, actually became his prisoner. I don't know how the other party will react after waking up. I can only say that soap is slippery. Chapter 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were so busy that they had to wait for a long time. I don't know how long it took. Yen Shu blinked her curved eyelashes, and then opened her beautiful eyes. Hiss, my body hurts. She gasped in pain. Not only did her body have no strength, but she also felt a burst of severe pain. I am tied up. Yen Shu gritted her teeth after seeing her situation clearly. What made her ashamed and angry was that all her clothes were taken off, and now she was only wearing two cool underwear. The two plump breasts were also exposed to the air without restraint. And she was refreshed and comfortable, just like she had just taken a bath. Could it be that her pure body was completely seen? Luo Tian, I'm going to kill you. That she struggled unwillingly, but how could a human body break the bracelet and chain made of metal? Besides, Yen Shu was not only hungry now, but also had no strength at all. The struggle was fruitless. Her delicate body was even more sore and weak, and she finally gave up. Wait. How come Luo Tian's house is so warm? There is even a fireplace in the living room. Yen Shu looked around the room and said in shock, you know, when she was with ECC at home before, there were only two thick quilts, and the two could only hug each other every day and rely on body temperature to keep warm. Even if she was wearing a thick down jacket, her hands and feet would be frozen in the room. And now? She was wearing almost nothing, just a swimsuit for going to the beach in summer. But staying in the living room not only did not feel a bit cold, but also felt warm and comfortable. If it was at her own home, or Yi Mengrong's room, I'm afraid she would have been frozen to death by the low temperature. This means that the temperature outside the window is minus 70 degrees, and the temperature in the room is probably more than 20 degrees. It's amazing. Is that a fruit platter? Yen Shu hadn't recovered from the warm room yet, and her eyes were attracted by the large plate of fresh fruits on the coffee table. What did she see? Lychees, dragon fruits, pineapples, red bananas, black-skinned watermelons, ruby grapes. Where did Luo Tian get these? Yen Shu said in astonishment. In the half-month of the extremely cold blizzard, other people were so hungry that they couldn't eat and almost starved to death. Luo Tian not only had fish and meat every day at home, and ate barbecue until he was full, but he could also eat such fresh food, just like fruits just picked from the tree. Even if it was freshness preservation, it couldn't be so outrageous. What Yen Shu didn't know was that Luo Tian's space ignored all rules. Fresh food was thrown in, and it would still look the same when it was put in 100 years later. Luo Tian must have some secrets. Yen Shu's quick thinking started to work at this time. She now recalled what happened before she fainted. At that time, she threw the fruit knife as a flying knife. If Luo Tian was stabbed, although he would not die, he would definitely lose his ability to move. But the strange thing is, the other party did not know where to conjure up a large target for shooting, blocking her whole body. Suddenly taking out such a large target, magic is absolutely impossible. He did not hide behind the sofa or other shelters in advance. Yen Shu frowned and pondered. When she was in the criminal police team, she participated in solving many outrageous suspense cases, so Yen Shu firmly believed in one truth in her heart, that is, eliminate all impossible conditions. No matter how outrageous the remaining conjecture is, then it is the truth. Luo Tian probably has some magical powers. Just like in the movie, these foods are all made out of thin air by him using methods that cannot be explained by science. Yen Shu thought in shock. In this way, everything makes sense. After all, there was a blizzard that swept the world and turned the world into an extremely cold doomsday. If such a disaster of species extinction has happened, what else is impossible to happen? It must be said that Yen Shu has a high IQ after throwing away her sense of justice and responsibility. She does not subconsciously believe in those vulnerable groups, such as Bao Ma Xia Lan, and thus gives up her rational thinking. Although she did not guess it completely, she was very close to the truth that Luo Tian possessed infinite space. "Hey, Yen policewoman, are you awake?" Luo Tian walked out of the bedroom with a smile on his face, wearing a silk pajamas. Seeing that she was awake, he also slowly he walked over and looked down at her E+ cup size on her chest and the two white and smooth legs curled up under her slender waist. Because of fatigue, Yen Shu could only sit on the ground reluctantly. The exclusive sitting posture of the neon anime beautiful girl, on the body of Yen Shu, the cold and beautiful policewoman, actually has a bit more cuteness. At the same time, it perfectly shows her pair of white legs. Slender, straight, and elastic. Coupled with Yen Shu's tall figure, it can be said that her legs are all below the neck. "Look at me again, I will dig out your eyes." Although she was tied up, Yen Shu's temper was still the same. She gritted her teeth and said viciously, "Hey, policewoman Yen, do you recognize your situation?" Luo Tian raised his eyebrows and said doubtfully, bent down. In Yen Shu's eyes, he pinched her small chin and slowly lifted it up. "Let alone seeing you, even if I fucked you right there, what can you do?" Luo Tian smiled and stared at her narrow and charming peach blossom eyes. His thumb gently played with her seductive lips. At this time, Yen Shu held up her small nose, and although her lips were played with, she still stared at him with an unyielding look. "I put it in front, don't say I didn't give you a chance." Luo Tian whispered, "If you are willing to submit to me, not only can you regain your freedom immediately, but you can also enjoy this warm house and food. The price is to obey all my orders." He raised the corner of his mouth and said, "There is only one chance, I hope you will seriously consider it." After hearing this, Yen Shu's hands were tied, and Yazizwa sneered, "Let me obey you, a scumbag. Dream on." Okay. Luo Tian nodded repeatedly. "I just like stubborn little wild cats like you." He released the hand that was pinching Yen Shu's chin, stood up and smiled. "I hope you can always be so confident." Yen Shu said coldly, "Don't pretend to be a good person. Since I have been caught by you, can you let Xia Lan go?" As she said, her eyes looked towards the direction of the bedroom. As early as when Luo Tian came out, she smelled a body fragrance at the tip of her nose, which belonged to a woman. "Huh? Xia Lan," Luo Tian sneered. "Why did I catch her? What value does she have that makes me want to bring her in?" Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two of them were still together. "Don't quibble, Xia Lan is definitely in your bedroom." Yen Shu frowned, and before she finished speaking, she heard the bedroom door open again. Naked and rosy-cheekly Ro and Baiya, who were only wearing underwear, walked out with uncomfortable steps. They picked up the clothes that fell on the floor, and saw Yen Shu staring at them in astonishment, and they couldn't help but shyly put on clothes on their snow-white bodies. "Baiya?" Yen Shu said in astonishment, although she had heard about it from Yi Mengrong before. When she saw with her own eyes that the goddess who swept the country actually walked out of Luo Tian's bedroom wearing underwear, the shock she brought was still very huge. "Officer Yen, I seem to have heard you mention the name of Xia Lan, the liar." Baiya smoothed the wrinkles on her maid outfit and curiously said to Yen Shu, who was tied in front of the French window. "Liar?" Yen Shu's beautiful eyes glared, grasping the key information in the other party's words. "Yeah, I guess you were also deceived by her." Baiya also saw from the surveillance that Yen Shu went to deliver food to Xia Lan, so, she, who had suffered the same thing, told the other party that she had helped Xia Lan with good intentions, but was betrayed to Deng Tu by the other party and was almost defiled. "What, this?" After hearing this, Yen Shu opened her mouth in shock. "I haven't heard Yi Mengrong say this. If so, then what Xia Lan said about contacting Baiya and agreeing with Luo Tian to advance food in advance was all made up by the other party." "Contact me?" Baiya saw Yen Shu staring at her closely, shook her head, and took out her mobile phone. "Officer Yen, take a look for yourself. The chat record between me and Xia Lan ended a long time ago, and my reputation has been blocked." Yan Shu glanced at Bai Ye's chat record and found that what the other party said was true. She was deceived by Xia Lan. Then the thing that she just attacked Luo Tian. Isn't it all her fault? Yan Shu thought with some shame, the belief she has always believed in is to protect innocent people and give the most painful blow to evil. But now, Luo Tian did nothing, but she came to her door without authorization and almost took his life. Officer Yan, you came from the criminal police team, how come you have no brains at all? You were deceived by Xia Lan, a mother. Luo Tian said with a sigh. Could it be that all the nutrients went to these two balls of big Nizi? Hearing such a blatant sarcasm, Yan Shu gritted her teeth and lowered her head, surprisingly not refuting him. Instead, she trembled slightly and softened her tone. Luo Tian, I admit that I was wrong. I apologize to you, I hope you can forgive me and let me go. I promise, I won't do anything to you again. Faced with Yan Shu's surrender, Luo Tian sneered. Policewoman Yan, listen to your own words, are they reasonable? If I wasn't more skilled, what would happen if I got stabbed in the chest in this extremely cold and scarce environment? I would die. He stared at Yan Shu's beautiful eyes, and his voice became colder and colder. Now you just apologized and want me to let you go. Are you dreaming? Yan Shu bit her lips with her teeth and raised her head and said, Luo Tian, I am not alone. I have an elder and a child to take care of. If you don't let me go, they will starve to death at home. Really? Luo Tian raised his eyebrows and said, but, what does their life and death have to do with me? Yes, why would Luo Tian care about this? Yan Shu pursed her lips, taking a deep breath, she said firmly, Luo Tian, I, Yan Shu, have never bowed my head to others before. But today, I beg you, let me go. In return, I will help you deal with Deng too. Hearing this, Luo Tian couldn't help laughing and said, ha ha ha. Yen de police flower, it seems that you don't understand your situation yet. In the other party's shocked eyes, Luo Tian reached out his hand to her snow-white thigh with the electronic leg ring, and gently stroked it, saying, from the moment you put on this leg ring, you are mine. In other words, he said with cold eyes, you are now just a pet of mine. Whenever I ask you to stick your butt up, you just need to stick it up obediently. Because a pet is not qualified to make conditions to the master. Yan Shu's pupils shrank, she never thought that Luo Tian's attitude was so arrogant that he was planning to keep her in captivity as a. Luo Tian, do you know what you are saying? When this snowstorm is over, you will go to court. Yan Shu gritted her teeth. I'm afraid you won't be able to wait until that day. Luo Tian hugged his chest and snorted coldly. Policewoman Yan, I'll be frank. I know the inside information about this snowstorm. It is precisely because I knew it in advance that I prepared everything so well and asked a special security company to build such a steel fortress for me. He raised the corners of his mouth, he stretched out his hands in the air, and a bottle of red wine and a wine glass were taken out of thin air. After Luo Tian poured himself a glass, he waved his hand casually, and the bottle of red wine instantly disappeared in front of Yan Shu. Yan Shu's beautiful eyes were full of astonishment. Although she had long guessed that Luo Tian must have some superpowers, she was shocked when she saw it again. Take out the red wine out of thin air and make it disappear. Well, science cannot explain this method at all. Want to know how long this natural disaster will last? Luo Tian took a sip and said elegantly. Yan Shu bit her cherry lips and didn't speak, but her eyes didn't leave Luo Tian's face. After this, she basically believed it. Forever. He said lightly. The two light words made Yan Shu's delicate body tremble violently. Forever. Her heart was shaking wildly. Could it be that, this extreme cold snow disaster will continue forever? Yan Shu was stunned. The snow disaster has only been here for half a month, and the temperature has dropped to a terrifying -70 degrees. I don't know how many people are frozen to death and starved to death every day, and the official institutions are paralyzed. If the heavy snow doesn't retreat, won't all human beings die in this unprecedented extreme cold temperature drop? This can no longer be called a disaster, it should be called the end of the world. So, just be my guard. Luo Tian said softly, leaning close to her ear, at least. I can guarantee that you won't be frozen or starved to death. When Yan Shu was distracted, Deng Tu's group of brothers had already searched all the corridors to find her trace. Boss, I didn't find the shadow of Yan Shu. We didn't find it either. Listening to his subordinate's report, Deng Tu cursed angrily, waste, what a bunch of waste. If Yan Shu and Luo Tian join forces, he will be the first to be liquidated. Deng Tu has a clear understanding of the combat effectiveness of his group of brothers. They couldn't beat Yan Shu, the policewoman. If the other party got Luo Tian's crossbow, plus her excellent reconnaissance and anti-reconnaissance capabilities, she could shoot them to death by hiding in the dark. No, we must find her and kill her, Deng Tu said fiercely. His mortal enemy already has a tough guy like Luo Tian, so he can't add Yan Shu, who is already strong in combat. It's -70 degrees outside now, and the snow is 5 meters thick. Apart from taking the initiative to occupy this building and looting enough supplies, they have no other way out. And Luo Tian and Yan Shu are their biggest threats. Boss. At this time, a younger brother ran up the stairs excitedly. I just caught a guy. He said that when he went down to dig snow, he seemed to see a very beautiful woman walking up.